Good morning, everyone, and here we are back once again and up and running, and going to continue working on the mini golf games, see if we can get some more pieces in place, possibly work on some animation, work on some sequencing, work on some logistics of how different pieces come together. Just whatever it takes, get the thing up and running. So here we go. Okay, so yesterday I was working on getting it to go to a certain point and rotate and get to the right place. What I realized was the code that I was running has this one section in here. Let me find it real quick. In here, I was running this one section where whenever I tell it to walk to a position, I was rotating it right towards that position that I want to walk to. Well, I copied that code that rotates it, took out the parts that walk, and created a function called turn to rotation. That way I can tell it, here's a box, face it, or here's an object in the scene, and go ahead and just face it and go from there. So what I've done so far, if you look at this, when I click, he walks over to position, he's stopping, and it's rotating. But notice I don't have an animation when he rotates. So to do that, I started looking into it, and what I'm going to need to do is if I use my rotation that I've designed into the system, then we have one problem. When I tell it to turn left or right, it's going to automatically add the rotation movement to it. So I came up with this idea of having a global variable where I can say move override, and what that'll do is basically I can tell it to turn off or on the movement but yet still run the animations. So basically the movement for turning right will be animated and in the normal place, but what'll happen is the other part of it, the actual rotation of direction that I'm going to face, is going to come directly from my function instead. So to finish that out, I'm going to go ahead and set this on each one of these different possible, on rotate up, yeah, that's going to be fine. I'm not going to worry about that. On wait, if the animation's playing, it's not moving. Let's see, what's this move distance? Oh, it applies gravity. So I can wait, automatically applies gravity. I'm going to leave that one the way it is. Here, I'm going to tell it move override, and we'll indent that whole section. And then on run, same thing. Basically just setting it up where we can tell it not to do the default movement. That gives us control that if we want to actually write a function to make it move a certain way, we can just tell it to not default move and do what we need it to. Okay, we take this and put that there. Okay. We already have turn left, turn right with the running versions of each one. We'll do that to strafe. I think this is going to be something could be useful to others, because then you can put it into an animation mode without having to worry about it. You don't have to add a new animation just to call it a different name, or try to alias one, which I think would be even more trouble than it's worth. Okay, so we have that. And we have all the strafe right, left, running strafe right, left. And that should do that. Then all I need to do is set this in my function. When I tell it to rotate this part right here, I'm going to set this equals 1, which will turn off their default movement, and then I'm going to turn it back on when it cancels, and that'll take care of that part. Let's see. I wonder if I should... I might need to pass it. I'll decide that later on, but instead of making a global variable, I might need to pass that variable in, because let's say I'm moving another avatar from multiplayer. That may make a difference. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Okay. And there was a sequence where this last thing, what I did was I told it to run for a certain amount of time, and then I just automatically rotate it. That's going to have to be adjusted because I don't want it to overlap and not get the walking all the way to the position that it needs to go. So when I set this to 1, I need to decide right here. Degree left would automatically be a positive number. So that's the target angle that we're traveling to. Let's see. Degree left will always be a... It's going to be a positive number because we're basically doing the math to make it that way. This one, though, on the other hand, direction is always a negative number. Avatar degrees... haven't decided how I'm going to figure out what direction he's coming from. I know that I'm rotating him the right direction. I don't see how I'm deciding which way that was. Direction is 0 and... or 1 or all these negative numbers. That could be a positive or... well, it's going to be a minus number if it's any of these. Target angle bounces that back. I made it work, and I don't remember how I did it. Let's just see. I don't remember what I did. Degrees left should be target angle. Target angle could be positive or negative. That's where the difference is. And so degrees left could be positive or negative. Let me find out what happens with degrees left. Because I think that's my key value that I'm going to need to know if it's turning to the right or turning to the left. And we'll find out real quick here if that changes. I just want to see if they're positive or negative numbers. So first things first, if I go in from left of where I'm going, if I do this, he walks over here, and when he rotates, he is rotating positive numbers all the way down to when it hits lining up with the ball. Okay, now if I take it and I come from this direction and I do it, then I'm rotating to the left. Notice, oh, he's still walking. That's not helping. Yeah, see, there's something wrong with that. I still don't have that working. Degree left is still positive. Okay, fine. What made it turn left or right? Just curious here, though, before we move on from here. When I did it the first time, these are positive numbers, and it dropped down to where it needed to go. 24, 25, all the way down to here where it stopped. Then I clicked it again. It's positive numbers and drops down to where it needs to go. How do I know what direction I'm going? Let's check the direction at this point. See, the direction's adding, but it's could be a negative number. In fact, it's from a negative number on all these except for here. So, yeah, we'll have to find out. Well, actually, direction can be a, well, if target angle is, well, it's always positive from what we just found. Got to think about that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's just find out what direction. I'm trying to see how I figured out which direction to turn because I seem to have done it right. One of those cool things where I made it work and now I'm trying to figure out how did I make that work? I don't remember. So when I go here and he stops and he starts, now see he didn't stop walking. Direction equals 1. Oh. Oh, I know what happened. I'm too far away. See, that was what I warned of. Okay, hang on. I'm going to, for now, I'm going to set this up a little different. When I tell it to do these two sequences, right now what I'm doing is I'm telling it walk for a certain amount of time, and then once you do, then go ahead and rotate. Well, I'm doing it through a timeout. That's not a good way to do it. I need to chain the events so that it walks to position, stops, then does this. But what's happening is the animation is running, but he's not moving. That's why he never stops, because it was getting in between. I'm going to make it wait 5 seconds just to give it enough time no matter what I do. That should resolve that issue. That's why his animation for walking was moving, but he was not moving. Well, I could turn off and on the ability to move when I... No, because that's going to get in the sequencing. Okay, fine. We're just separating the two right now. It's going to be a chain reaction afterwards. So now we wait 5 seconds, and then it rotates, and there we go. Direction went +1. That's really interesting, because the direction never went from any of those other types. So if I go from this side and I tell it to go over there, he walks to the position, stops, waits 5 seconds, and look how fast he turned. Wow. Okay. I don't think I need him to rotate that fast. I was doing that while correcting the other thing. I was doing that while correcting the movement before. Now, if I'm rotating this way, so direction was 1, else direction went negative for these values. So it is a positive or negative direction that tells me which direction to turn. I can use that to decipher the animation. But what I really need to do is, if it's, if it's less than 180, I'm going to tell it to move. I'm trying not to break it in case this doesn't work well, but I have a feeling it's going to work well, so let's see what happens. If I change that to a -1, and I remark out everything from here to there, then what I'm getting is, if it's no rotation needed, direction is 0, else the direction equals -1, and this still has this effect if it's not less than 180, because we need to make it move more than 180 degrees, so then we deal with that. Okay, from here, I need to, if direction is greater than 1, else, and this one is going to tell it to add and we're going to add something. We need to add, if it's on turn left or on turn right, we'll try see if positive direction should be on turn right. If it's 0, we don't need to do an animation, but we're going to catch that there, and then we're going to stop it anyway, so I'm not worried about that. And on this one, it's going to be on turn left. Just making sure I spell them right. And then here, we're going to tell it right after it clears the interval. That's the most important piece. And this is an adjustment for the last step. Right here, we're going to tell it to remove both of those animations, which is key pressed remove. This key pressed function actually basically tells it which animations to run, and then if there's more than one in the queue, it divides it the weight of how much to run. Weight of 1 is fully running the animation, weight of 0 is stopped the animation, and if there's 2 of them, they'll each go to 50%. If there's 4 of them, it'll go to 25%. You get the idea. Okay, so then I turn off and remove both of those animations, and I turn back on the ability to move with your animations. So let's see how that did. We're going to start over here and walk over to the position. We're going to wait a couple seconds and rotate, and it stops. And he moved in the animation. Did he move the right direction? I wasn't paying attention. Let's do it again. And let's back up. So if I click there, he rotates towards it and goes there and rotates. He's moving the right direction. Okay, that's a good sign. Now, if I'm on this side of it and I walk around and I tell it, oh no, I'm going to go over here and putt. He does my happy walk over there. And then I rotate, and he's rotating the right direction. Yay, we've got something going here. Okay, and once he gets to that position, then we're going to be able to turn on some additional movement and tell it what to do at that point. But before we move on, there's one more piece here, and that is I was just delaying it and doing this. I need to sequence this, which means at the end of walk position, I need to tell it to run this particular function and with these parameters right here. So we're going to tell it what to do. We already have avatar name. I'm going to pass this as a name of a function, and then I'm going to pass the parameters. I think I want to pass golf ball. I don't think I need both of them. I think I can do it from an array, the values that I need it to go here. that's not how you do it. We do this, and we get the array of values. Copy that here, comma. I don't know if it's going to like that or not, but we're going to find out. And I don't remember if that's the way the piece is set up to do it. But another case where we're going to find out if that works. It just seems like it should as a parameter. So going back to here, what we'll do is okay, first of all, this worked well. I'm going to take out these extra quick adjustments. I only needed the quick adjustments when I was actually doing the when I was doing this up here. I needed to be able to quick adjust to a specific place, and like if you're not walking fast enough, you don't turn sharp enough, what ends up happening is you end up passing up the spot, especially if you were close to it to begin with. So I had to make it more dramatic to be able to stop at the point that you wanted it to. Sorry, I'm a little distracted on TV. It says shooting at Saugus High School, LA. School shooting. Sad. Come on, people. Learn to program. Play computer games. Don't act out. Okay. Being a teacher, that's bitter. Well, hope everybody's okay. Okay, so let's see. What I want to do is I'm going to tell it to do this turn rotation based on the end of this, which means I've got a function someplace, and I got to go find it real quick. It is in my common file, and it is execute function, I believe is what I called it. We're going to find it. I think that's what I called it, and well, there's set function, create function, execute function by name, values. It's how these values come in that make me question it. I don't remember. Parameters split by comma. But that's not passing an object. See, that gets a little dangerous. See, that's going to cause trouble. Okay, what I want is this right here. Okay, we're going to just jump right to it, and in here I need we're going to call this function, and it's going to be the function name here, and the parameters as is here. I think what I can do, if I'm not mistaken, I can actually send this, comma, that, and basically we're getting closer. Parameters, and then send the parameters as, I just want to make sure that we're getting the right things sent there. Send the parameters as basically golf ball by itself. I could send the name of the golf ball so that it finds it on its own. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I need to do. Okay, so turn rotation. I'm telling it to turn towards the golf ball, and we're passing avatar name, so that means that should get it this function. We're passing this extra value, and when we do it from here, we already know that we're going to pass these two values with the function name. I believe that should get us to here. We're going to give that a shot and see if it works, or if I just made more of a mess of it. Nah, it won't be a mess, just be a matter of it won't rotate. So we'll find out if that works. Okay, click on this. He walks over to position and it's rotating. That's a good, hey, that looked pretty darn good to me. Okay, and he rotated right to the ball. That's a good sign. Let's back up this direction, get where we can kind of see it in the scene here, and let's see what happens. He rotates to the position, goes there, and yes, we have liftoff. Yay! Okay, so now that we have that piece, that's actually nice and cool. Okay, and if I back up here, I can't walk over the edge. Sometimes back up, I'm not getting over the edge, but yet if I go forward over it, I can. Okay, and I'm going to click it from over this direction just to do it. And he walks up there, and it looks like he's aiming right at it, so we're good. Okay, so now we've gotten that far. The next thing is, well, let's see. I got to think of what I need to do here. The next thing is I need to move the camera and rotate it around behind him so that you can see what direction he aims. And then I'm going to turn on the ability to adjust the direction and aim it. Let's see. I'm getting there. Okay. To turn off the camera, the best way I can think of is I can make it do this, and we can actually set it to wherever we need it to be for the scene. That's one way of doing it. So that's detaching the camera and moving it into position based on rotation angle and everything else. We could calculate the point where we want it to move to. We could do it where it's a smooth transition, so that it rotates over to this direction as it's rotating over to there. That would be kind of cool animation. I'm trying to do this in a way that basically it looks cool. And then after you hit the ball and the ball stops, then I'm going to move it back to where you can move your guy again, so that the camera moves away from him and then back to him. So I think we're going to do two functions. We're going to do this one in the actual cameras file because it seems to be the right place to do it. This one's going to be interesting because I haven't done anything like this one yet. So we may need to adjust some of these things. No, that's only when it's attached to the avatar. So when we detach it from the avatar, I think we're going to have the most control over where to put the camera, and we can have it actively follow him while it's going. So if he rotates, the camera rotates too. I know a ARC camera would be ideal, but I don't want to build an ARC camera just to destroy it afterwards. So I think, yeah, got to think of how I want to do this. Okay, let's, we're going to create a function first of all. Do I want it in here or do I want it in the golf game? I think I want to do it in the golf game. I really do, because the reason is it's pretty much a unique one for this golf game, and if I need to use it in other places, I can always recreate another camera view thing. But in the meantime, it would be something specifically used here. It's repeatable. But, okay, we're going to say... camera, watch, view. We'll do that. And then we're going to create a function afterwards. Camera return view, which will take us back to whatever view they were using from the beginning, which in our case was a follow camera, but we'll transition and do those moves back to where it needs to be. Currently, here's the sequence of events. Right now, when I go in here, I'm telling it to, let me think about this. I am telling it when I click this button, see, it automatically goes to there. So when I click this button, what function am I running? Because I'm going to steal some commands from it. Quick editor to camera. Okay, let's go find this function. And I kind of know where it is. It would be in our common file. Find this. Okay, find next. No, it's not in that one. Okay, find in files. Oh, it's, well, it could be in the core file. Admin. That's only used in admin. Oh, right. That makes sense. Of course it was only used in admin. That's where we needed it to be. Camera focus, I set it to 1 when we detach the control, switch to the camera, and then camera inputs attach input camera, and I tell this one to viewport is there. Active cameras. This is the function I need, and this one puts it back in place. So I'm going to copy just this part of it. Just getting my logistics in place here. Take this part of it, and it's going to put it back in place here. This is not manipulating where the camera sits. This is only manipulating that we have a camera running. And then this one tells it to detach from the current scene. And we can run it from here. Okay, when I run this file, it's going to detach it, and when I run this, it's going to put it back in place. So what I want to do is at the end of, see, now we're doing a chain of events. See, the avatar, here's the issue. Walk to position. If I do this, then this is a very general thing. I can tell it to walk to a position anytime. What I do afterwards is the follow-up, and that needs to kind of take more control here. I don't necessarily want to make it too custom for this particular function, which means I may need a medium function so that it knows to run this one, goes back there, then it can set up some more parameters to tell it what to do after this, and I can pass a parameter that tells it how to run the piece after that. But yeah, so we're going to have to modify and create a median function in between that tells it to do the turn rotation, but gives it these parameters and stuff. That would be the ideal way to do this. Yeah, I think that's going to be the ideal way to pass the function. You know what? I'm going to take about a 5-minute break, and I will be back. Okay. Okay, and here we go again. So I'm kicking off a function and I'm telling it what to run, but what I need to do is I can pass the parameters that go with it, and what I'll do is, so we have a function name and parameters, and we're doing this walk to position. So I'm going to create a median function right here, and we'll just say, we'll call it something here, I don't know what. This one's going to basically be what fires off the other piece, because when I walk to position and I do this stuff, that's not helping. We'll leave the parameter. No. Let's give it the name of the golf ball. That would be a good parameter to be sending. Golf position, aim, golf ball instance, and that is the name of the golf ball. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to pass that as this last parameter. Where'd it go? There it is. That will automatically give us the name of the golf ball. Then we can look it up based on our thing. Here we got a little bit of progress. Check this out. This is, oh, and I just broke it. That's funny. Okay, never mind. I can't show you at the minute because I'm trying to set another function in here. Chat soon. Sounds good. Okay. Thanks for stopping by, though. I appreciate that. Yeah. Have a good one. Okay, so what we have here is I'm not going to start turn to rotation. I'm going to say, we'll call this walk or in position. Let's see. No, I don't like that. Walk complete. We're going to say walk complete. That'll be a good enough name. And we're passing the golf ball instance. We know that it's our character that we're working with, so that'll give us our avatar name. Then a problem. We may have to pass that at some point here too, but for now that's fine. So this, I know I created two of these. That's going to be, oh, what did I do? I didn't copy the name. Okay, walk complete. And we're going to grab that one right here and paste that here. Now this function is going to pass golf ball name into it. And then we're going to say from there we want to run. You know what, I'm going to, just because of the sequence of events, I'm going to move this up there. This will be right after we, well, this is where we're calling it. So I want it to be right here. And after that, we need to, based on the golf ball name, we're going to say var golf ball equals scene get mesh by ID, and it'll be golf ball name. If golf ball is not equals null, then we're going to do this function, which is going to be passing in, I know I already deleted it too. We're going to be going to, that's walk to position. We're going to be telling it to turn to rotation, and we'll tell it these parameters. Copy that here. WTW dot turn rotation. Avatar name, we're going to replace that with what the avatar's name is. Mold to face is going to be the golf ball. And function name and parameter, that's what we're going to spit out afterwards, which in this case is going to be camera watch view. And for now, all it's going to do is change from our follow camera to our other camera. So that'll be that. And parameters, I'm just going to say null, because we do not need any parameters on that. The only other part is the avatar name, which is basically this right here. Copy that and put that there. Now we should get the whole sequence through walk this with the name, pass it in here, and it should turn with the rotation, knowing that it needs to pop into this function down here, which is going to kick off the changing of the camera automatically. So let's see that sequence happening. I think we're going to be there. I think we're going to get it. Okay, so starting off here, if all goes well, we should walk to the point, turn, and then release the camera from the avatar being a follow view. Let's see if we get that far. We're walking to the point. He stops. He didn't turn. What did I miss? Yeah, I missed something. Okay. We're almost there. We're almost there. I made this work a minute ago. Oh, because I didn't fix this part of it, which is parameters, function name. Function name should have gone through here. We should have been able to execute function name being null. We should have been able to execute this function. It did not. There's something missing. Let's check. I know we're trying to line up a whole sequence of events. So let's, oh, wait a minute. Okay. And we're going to check two things here. First, we're going to find out if it actually got to walk complete. Oh, it's mini golf. It's not WTW. There's my problem. It is going to be this prefix, because it didn't find the function, basically. When I call this, when I tell it to go to walk complete, it is that function. And then once again, when I do it here, it is that class. So I had them in the wrong class. Now we can double check this, load it again. Okay, load avatar, and here we go. Walk to the position and rotate with the animation working. And we did not release the camera, so let's find out what's going on in that level. We should get camera watch view. We should have hit that particular piece. He turned to the golf ball, so we know that part was working. Oh, wait, turn to rotation. I know why. Because I didn't tell it this in this function. So we never told it to run when it was complete. That would be right here, which is when it stops the interval and it finished that piece. Did I do that in here too? Yes, I did. Okay. I'm leaving this stuff in here, these little notes, because that was when I moved on to sit in a chair afterwards. So I'm going to set that up as a function and get it to do what I want it to when I'm ready to. But I don't want to lose track of what I was making it do before. Okay, so now we should get the full sequence, which is release the camera. Then we can start work on getting it to go to a particular place. Okay. Click this. Here we go. Walk to position. Rotate. And we drop the view. Yes, we are in this view. So now, oh, he's still moving. He didn't stop his feet when he got to the rotation. Why didn't it stop? We finish this. Oh, that's the wrong one. We came in here, we told it to remove both of those, and that's it. We should have been able to stop that. And the fact that it got here, I know that it must have stopped and ran through that piece. Hey Eva, how you doing today? We're very close. We're very close. I don't know why it didn't stop this, because we should have automatically stopped just because I removed out both of the turns right from the position. Not sure why it didn't. Yeah. Maybe later I'll just add a clear all function so that it wipes out whatever's in there and stop all, which would make it immediately go to a idle position. Let's see. Okay. And it might be, I think I know what's wrong. If I do this code too fast here, I think what's happening is it doesn't complete this command, and because of that, it needs just a fraction delay to make sure those things stop before it runs this command, because this particular command that I'm doing next actually, well, let's do it in this other part here. When I run this piece, the very first thing I'm doing is taking the camera focus off of the avatar, and when I do that, I believe that's a trigger. That's a trigger that stops controlling the avatar. It should snap into the other mode when that happens, but I think what I want to do is window.set timeout. I just need a little delay. Doesn't even have to be much. Like, let's see. Let's give it a half a second, because I think that's all I'm going to actually need. I could wait 1 second and then the camera starts to move once you get there. That's not incredibly long, but we'll see if a half a second. I just want to prove that was what it was doing, and then we'll go from there. But I have a feeling that's all it was. Is the timing. You just have to have enough time, because the change of commands of what animation you're doing to the next one, the change of commands when you're telling it to go from one thing to the next is happening on the cycle per scene, while this is a sequence of events. So the sequence of events doesn't mean the cycle ran in between it. So if you give it that little pause, that's just enough time to make sure, like here. So we go to that position, then it drops off, and yep, see, his feet stopped. That's all we needed to make sure. Oh, now look at him. He's rotating on his own. Okay, there's something going on there. He's rotating, which tells me it's not running the animation, but it is moving, which would mean, how can that be? This one just annoys me. We'll go a full second just to do it, but here's the deal. When it runs this, it already pulled these out, it already stopped, it already did all this, and it cleared the interval, which should have stopped this particular function. So if it stopped the function, it shouldn't continue to move. And what's happening is it is still thinking it's running, and I have a feeling this happened because it went to this point where it stopped the animation, but something else happened here. Because why would it continue to rotate? Let me think about that one a second. He's randomly spinning. He's like on a turntable. Let me give it a full second and just see if that makes any difference at all. Okay. The other part, oh, I forgot to wait for him to materialize. And if I go over here now and back up, he's there. 1 second may have been a better thing. Now what I need to do is I need to take on a scene view. So I need to make it be from this angle so that you could see whatever direction you're angling, and it's opposite of your aiming direction. So if I come in here, let's add some more functionality to this and see what we get. First thing is, once I get to this position, we're going to have to rotate it, but I need to know where to rotate it to. There's another piece here, and that is we have the we have this Gulf line, and if I do this, the aim line is going to give us the angle and help us with our position that we need to go to. So I want to refocus on this. I'm going to set it visible when it gets to this point. That's why I'm doing all this stuff here. We're going to do this. And aim line is visible equals true. Because now it's already dropped into position. Before, the ball wasn't dropped yet, so I didn't quite want it to show the line yet. But I created it because we are using it to align where he's at, because he's perpendicular to the aiming. There's a bunch of mechanics going on. There's a bunch of calculations. So we're just making sure they're all in place. And here we go. Click on that. He walks to place and he rotates, and then comes over here, and we're going to do something here. See, he's moving again. He was not on target. He did not rotate to that position fully. He stopped short of it. Not sure why. But see, now when I rotate, no, it's not related to that. But notice he's not even facing the ball anymore. Well, okay, we'll come back to that. That's an issue, but not. It's going to be one of those things where I just have to set the value and make sure that he stays there. Okay, what we have here is, oh, that one should, when I do this, let's try it again. The aiming should automatically come back and point me in the right direction. So go over here, rotate around, he stops, and the aiming line did not show up. Let's find out. Was the aiming line null or not? Let's think here. WalkTheWeb log. Aim line. Let's see if that pops up. I just need to know that it's getting that far. So walk complete happened, obviously. We're going to do this like here. And I'm going to purposely set a new starting position just to mix up things and test another point. And when I click on it, he turns towards it, he rotates, and he's off-centered. Okay, we'll worry about that in a minute. From here, we do not have the aim line, and it did not show. Okay, he's rotating. When I clicked here is when he rotated, just so I know that. Where's the aim line? Did aim line get pulled at any point in time here? Oh, aim line disposed when you hit the golf ball. That's not an issue. Well, if all else fails, this would be from the golf ball instance. If it's null, we do this. We're going to make sure we have an aim line because this particular function, is that going to be something I can just create a function for? Yeah, I'll probably write a function for this and drop it out and just drop it into different places when I need it. Oh, if it is null, it's not null. It is not null. Duh. I thought I created it already. I knew I did. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Just got to pay attention to my own code. Oh, I know what happened for part of that. When I walk over here, that does that, and we rotate, and it's falling off center because of we're rotating the last degree, which is after the last degree did get set. That should be, if it's less than a certain degree, the degree turn should be, we're gonna fix this right now. If yeah. This is the rotation one. We'll take a copy of that. We'll put it in here and say if it's less than 2 degrees, because that'll catch like 1 point something. So if it's less than 2 degrees, direction equals target angle. Target angle, a negative target angle. And then when we move, we're already there. We do not have to do this because the target angle was figured out after we moved it. So I think the target angle was moved before we moved it, so we're over moving and overcompensating by doing one more time. So this way, if it's less than 2, it'll automatically do that. That's not if we're coming from the positive direction. See, that's where we run into trouble. Okay, we'll fix the rest of that later. That should help us a little bit on there. The other piece is if we're already at the position, notice if avatar position is not the absolute position, then we do this function. So we need to go over here. If it is at the position, we need to do an else. and we need to tell it to run this command. Otherwise, it doesn't move on knowing that you're already at that location. That'll help us for that part of it. This particular one, we do not have that thing, because if it's 0 and we're already at the target angle, we catch that, and we know the degrees left is 0, so then we final it out with this. So no matter what, this one's going to run that, even if it runs one click through and stops. Okay, so let's take this. Now we should be able to click it even if we're in position, and we should just do the rotation without anything else. Okay, coming in here, click here. Now the other part that I'm expecting to see now is the aim line should appear after we're done. See, it fell out of position. I still have something wrong if I'm coming from that angle, but we have an aim line, which means that we are now in position to know direction to the flag. It didn't move to my current position, so what I want to do is there was one more piece of this aim line thing, and it is, if I go there, I purposely am updating the aim line here to be, that's if we need to create it, but then, okay, so aim line minus 90, we should be able to pick a position that is a certain distance behind it. That's going to be our formula that we need for that. I'm going to take this piece here, and we're going to be moving the camera position too using this function right here, because instead of moving 90 degrees, we're going to move 180 degrees. So let me just put that in here. I don't plan on doing that just yet. We have one more piece to fix first. But the aim line should have updated based on the golf ball. And I have a place where we're doing that. It is when we do the aiming of the function, which is right here. Absolute position, get absolute position of this. Golf ball direction. We find the golf ball direction, rotation. That's not the right place. Yes, it is. Yeah. When I move the slider, then it looks for the golf ball. It uses that to find the golf ball position. Then the golf ball position is used to set the aim line. That's the piece I need. So we're going to do, we already know golf ball position, and oh, we only had to move Y value is what we did. Okay, so I'm going to copy this little piece here. We're going to use two parts of it. Just wanted to copy the whole thing so we get it down here. And we're doing basically golf ball is not already selected. Okay, fine. Golf ball is now selected. We have this. We already know our aim line. It is not null, so we do not have to worry about any of that. All we need to do is change the Y position there. Now we should be in position with the Y value, and we should be able to calculate with subtracting 180 degrees. And we're going to do clean degrees. That just makes sure that it's between 360 and 0. If it's a negative number, it'll fix all that. We don't want it to do any more than it needs to. This, based on the golf ball. Okay, we're going to rotate based on the golf ball. We're going to move the camera a certain distance behind it in a certain angle. That makes a lot of sense right there. But this position is actually going to be the camera position. Yeah. We're going to do a couple things with that and see if we can't adjust it. Let's first see if everything else fell together, which means our aim line should now drop to the ground, which is the next part of the sequence that I was expecting to happen. Let it completely load up here. And he rotates around and separates the camera. Then the ball, it looks like it's right on the ball. And the only thing is the flagpole is off the ground where it's going to. Huh. Oh, we didn't move both ends of the line. I only moved the first end of the line. That would make a difference. The line, gotta think about that one. Oh, it's the base of the flagpole. The base of the flagpole is not in the hull. That would explain the angle. But see, when you're on an angle and you look at it from off-centered, if you're not right up against the ground, it's going to be deceiving. And you're never going to be able to aim at the hole because this side is up off the ground. So I think that's going to cause trouble. So for now, we're going to lower that back down 2 steps, which should make it a lot closer to the ground. And let's find out if that does exactly that. I think that should. We're going to find out right now. Okay, walking over, turns, detaches camera, and oh, it's still up to the same distance. It really didn't care. That was where the position of the line. Yeah. Okay. Does it change when I do this? See, it's not up against the ground. That's an issue. Okay. I need it to recreate the line here. I think it would be much better if it just recreated the line. Because if it recreates the line, then it's going to, yeah. Let's tell it how to build the line again. The line is created using this right here. Angle equals 0, golf ball there, get world position of the golf ball. Here's our points. This is where it was throwing it off. This value here. Well, 0, 0, 0, that would be the other end of the line. 0, 0, 0. Why is 0, 0, 0 above the ground? If I do this, so that it's level to the ground, that may be all we need to do to make it right. Because if we are building it level, then Y value isn't going to change. If we're aiming uphill, you're just going to have a shorter line for now. That's what we're going to tell it to do. But that's going to be a level line because Y value of the end point is the same as Y value of the other point. I think that might do exactly what I want it to. We're going to find out. Excuse me. Sorry, I turned towards the mic. Sorry about that. Okay, so we walk to position, and he rotates. We're getting closer. And now we are over here, and it did not change a darn thing. In fact, that's still up there. Oh, that end changed. Oh, golf ball absolute position at the time it created it. There's my problem. So, if I take this and my points equal golf ball position and we recreate the line, we're going to do that. Because if we rebuild the line where the current golf ball is, we'll have better results with where it's going to be. We're going to do these steps, which is going to create the golf ball. We're going to set it to true. Golf ball position, we will put that first. X on that. And golf ball position Y is already set up above that now. And that should do it. We're going to take that out and that one out, because that was part of that, wasn't it? Yeah, that was part of that. And I'm almost there, almost there. Bear with me. We just need to tell it aim line dispose, which will get rid of the line. Then we recreate the line based on this information, which will be accurate to where we should be. See, we don't have to do that after this first time. It's just that I dropped the ball. I wanted it to drop the ball into the scene just in case, well, for whatever reason. It's just a action thing. So by doing it this way, we get to create that piece, create this here. We use those points, which is going to be level across the Y golf ball height, which is going to be wherever it is at the current moment. That should do what we need it to here. Okay, and avatar coming in. There he is. I click on the button. Here it goes. Walks over, rotates. Then we go to camera view, and it went the clear opposite direction. Boy, is that interesting. Now it's out of phase. See, that does make a problem. Let's see. Golf ball position, and then 0, 0. Why would that go this direction? And see, yet second I start to move it, it knows to go there, but notice it's above it still. Did it count it before it hit the ground? But position should not be there. It should be golf ball, get world position, golf ball. Using those positions, we get the XYZ. We create the vector. And for some reason, when I use the vector, it's in the right place. I don't think I need to move these positions. That's where I'm screwing up. I don't need to change that. See, watch. Because I'm already drawing the line right where it needs to be, there's no reason to move the line position after the fact, because I'm moving it the distance that I already corrected and wrote it using align points. Okay, let's see if that does it. I think that's in theory. Okay, here we go. Walking over here, rotating, and then we have camera view, and we have a line, and notice it's right on the ground. That was the problem. We do not need it to go anywhere else because even this lifts it up, and notice which direction it's turning from now. That is not correct. Okay, so without doing this, we need to tell it over here. We create the line, aim position. That's another one where we didn't need to do this because we already created the line using the points. So that doesn't need to be there. But when I rotate it, I'm using this function right here. And it's rotating on 0, 0, 0, which means it's the wrong end of the line. So if let's first undo those because we already know that doesn't work. This should already create the line where it needs to be. But when I move and adjust the line, it needs to create the angle of the new position, which means I shouldn't be aiming at the flag. I should be aiming at something off-center from the flag. We're going to find out if that's correct. We'll see if it even aims. We're going to come over here. Whoa, where's he going now? He's on the other side of the ball. Wow, that's interesting. Now I'm hitting left-handed. Okay. I've got the 90 degrees off. I think we were doing a... Yeah, we'll fix that in a minute. See, it's aiming based on the flag, not on this direction. So we're going to need to start the position. I think we just need to reverse the position. If I reverse these, that should set the object from 0, 0 to there. I don't know if that's going to reverse it or not. Let me find out. We're going to find out if this actually reverses the position of where it's located. Otherwise, I need to rotate it around a certain point, and we'll do some calculations to figure that out. I don't think this is going to fix it personally. I think it's spinning around the axis, which is 0, 0, 0. So since we're going to rotate it around a position that's not 0, 0, 0, yeah. Oh, the other part was when we tell him to move to a particular position, my function, golf ball, walk complete. Right here, I'm telling it where to walk to. I'm going to say plus 90 degrees instead of minus. That should put him back on the right side of the ball. We're going to find out. We're getting there. We're getting there. There's a couple pieces here, and it's not going to matter until we get... There's certain core ones, and then we can adjust these things afterwards. Okay, here we go. He's walking to the right side now, and he rotates. Everything worked well there. And now we have this. Okay, and let's see. Nope, see, it's going to rotate. It's rotating around. Okay. Dooba-dooba-dooba-dooba-doom. Rotate a line by given point. About a point. Okay, so that would be... yeah, I haven't seen this kind of stuff in a while, so it would be sine, cosine, okay. I don't want to ask the mathematics world, I want to ask the programmer's world. Stack Overflow in JavaScript. How to calculate rotation in 2D in JavaScript. Rotate a point around another point using the angle. That sounds pretty darn close to what I'm trying to do. It would be new point equals that. Well, that doesn't help me. That's XY coordinates with combining those two various pieces. That's not the right math because it's going around origin 0, so they didn't calculate an off-centered origin, which means all you have to do is add the original origin. Well, that's kind of what I want to do, but not. Set and use a pivot. There we go. Let's do some direct how to set the pivot matrix. Position as its local origin is placed on the given position. For example, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, mathematically, okay, box position equals 2. Blah, 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 blah. Mesh. Set pivot matrix translation to a new point. You set the pivot at the point XYZ with a translation matrix that using this. Then okay. Okay, so this is what I need to do. Let's see if that works. So I created this item. And when I rotate it, which is here, okay, and I want to move it this is what we're going to try to do. Translation minus x minus y minus z. We're screwing up more than we're helping here. So we know the angle. And if I take that angle and apply it to rotate this mesh based on that. Let me see, is that how they apply it? Once you get the pivot in place, set pivot point, and you can put it back by doing the other thing. Okay, well, I've got a little bit of learning to do here. I want to test that, run it in a handful of these different scenarios. I've got some studying to do. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me while I do that, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I'll do some more studying on that because I have a feeling this is going to be the key to setting the pivot point at the golf ball and then rotating based on where the golf ball is. So notice the golf ball absolute position is here. I should be able to set these values here and here, which I already know are a point on the line, so I already have that value available to me. If I do this, and if I set this to aim line, and then that sets the pivot, and then if I say aim line rotation equals get radians of angle, then I think that may be all we need to do. I'm going to mark that out for a second. We'll worry about that in a minute, because that has to do with where I'm actually hitting the ball after I set the direction. But I just want to see if this actually rotates it and moves it in the direction that I think it does. So let's find out if we can get that far. And there's our avatar. We're going to walk to position, rotate, and camera releases. We have the aiming in place so far. And now when I move this, nope, see, it started origin 0. Oh, the angle is right. The origin needs to move to the golf ball. Oh. So if I do this, and then I aimline dot position equals this, which would be golf ball absolute position. That should get us to a 3-point, move the position of the line itself to the golf ball as it aims it. Let me see what that does. I think we might have it in place by doing that. Okay, so let's see what we do here. If I walk over here, if I click the button, we're walking into place, we're rotating, we release the camera, and let's see if we can aim. Yes, we can. Okay, that's a good sign. So now we've gotten that to work. That's not bad. And it does look like it's going to be pretty much where we expect it to be. Let's see if we hit the ball, if it goes the opposite direction. Okay, our direction isn't the direction of that right now. We're gonna have to fix this direction to match the aim line rotation. Okay, so we're negative on sign is probably not correct. We'll figure out which ones of these need to move. Let's first set that to a positive to get the direction and see if that, well, wait a minute. We did not do this step after we aimed the rotation. That's what was wrong. Let's do this step after the rotation, because the rotation didn't get set till here, because we did the pivot, place, marked it, and then rotated it here. Make sure you put that there. Okay, so then the direction gets set here instead of there, because now that's after the position gets moved. Let's see. Let me just try that again. I'm just curious. We're getting close. We're getting real close here. Because we can walk to the position, we can rotate to the right place, and then we can actually take a shot, aim it, and then take a shot. So let's see if we get the aiming right. We go this way. We're going to make the camera automatically rotate around, go that direction, and we can aim our shot. I'm purposely going to aim the shot off the side here. I want to see if it follows that line of tracking or not. And it goes the clear opposite direction, which means our direction is backwards. So if I take the direction here and do a negative cosine and a positive sine, that should reverse the direction the other way. Let's find out if that's true. In theory, it sounds real good. And then we'll check it from a couple positions, and if it does everything we expect it to from the various positions, then we know we're in good shape. So first thing, click, walk over here, we rotate, we're releasing the camera view, which is going to be automated and move to a position like here where you can actually aim and see where you're going. So we're going to work on that. Don't worry about the guy right now. Okay, we can take a position. I'm going to aim it off to the side on purpose. Move it up to a full hit, and when I click hit, it's going the direction we expected it to. We're doing a pool shot here. We're angling it off the bank and seeing how close we can get to the hole, and that's where we're at. So then what I'll be doing later on is if I click the ball, he's going to walk over to it, address the ball, aiming towards the cup again, and then we'll take our next shot. So that's kind of the theory. That's kind of the way we're going to be working it. And we'll see what we need to do. We'll keep on working on the gameplay. We'll keep on putting more pieces in place. And we'll get the whole thing going. So basically that's it. Let me do another shot here. I know, the guy's rotating. We got some bugs. We're not done yet. But we're well in progress here. Okay. If I click on this, it helps if I wait till the guy shows up, but that's fine. He showed up. So now what I want to do is I want to make the camera rotate to where it needs to be so that we're ready to aim and take the shot. If I go over here, if I click hit, it went the clear opposite direction. Okay, we're still not right. Oh, because I didn't re-aim it. Let me try that again. All I have to do is move the aiming function, even the slightest bit, and it'll fix that. It's because I fixed the aiming function, but I didn't fix where I regenerated the aiming line. So if you don't move anything, it's still backwards because I haven't set the direction in those other places yet. So let me just come over here and watch. This will prove my point. And we're going to go over here. And if I even move this just the slightest bit and even put it back, then when I hit the ball, about that hard, and we hit, goes the right direction. Okay, so we can fix the direction in the other places. We bunk and bounce off the flag. It's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the flag where it doesn't do collisions, just so that you can hit that without it being in the way of the hole. I think that's an easy way. Or I can even animate it where if you get close enough to it, it automatically picks it up out of the hole. That would be kind of cool too, but we'll see what we want to do. That part I'm not too worried about just yet. Okay, and when the ball stops, that's when I'm going to return direction to, okay, so we hit the ball, and aim line, walk complete, add golf ball, hit golf ball. So when I hit the golf ball and it finishes this whole thing and it knows to stop the golf ball and everything, it means we're right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to revert back to my other camera view so that you can pick up your guy, you can walk to the next position and do whatever you need to do. So we'll go WTW, is it golf? I'll figure out what that is in a second here. And we're going to do this function. And where's the... I know I've used it 100 times in here. It's basically this one with the caps. There it is. Okay. I want to make sure I get that right. And that'll return the camera view after the shot. So let's see if that does it, because I want to be back with the guy hooked back into what he's doing. We'll worry about animating that into position, but for the moment I just want to see it come together. So we walk to position, we rotate, that's all good. Camera view leaves, we can adjust the aim. I'm going to purposely miss. And I'm just going to hit it about that hard. And we're going to hit the ball. And what's going to happen is the ball's going to stop. And when it does, we should go back to our camera view of the person. Did it stop? Yes, it did. Okay, and it did. So then we would be able to walk over, say, hey, yeah, the ball's over here. You get there. And basically when you click the ball, it brings up the things to aim. This is where I'll make it address the ball again and open up the aiming direction. But notice we do have the ability to aim the ball, and we can tell it how hard to hit it, and it does still go in that, well, kind of not. Yeah, it went one of the directions. We'll have to adjust. We're going to check all that stuff. That's part of what we're doing. But just want to let you know we've gotten that far. We're making progress. We have to continue working on some of the gameplay, some of the pieces. We just have to make it all come together. So we will. We will. Okay, with that said, I think I'm going to call it a day on this piece. I've got to do some other coding and get back to that. And we'll see you again real soon and continue on our process. We're making headway. We are adding new functionality. We're getting him to walk to certain places. We're getting him to, oh, that's interesting. We're walking next to the ball, and, oh, that's kind of interesting. Now we're ready to hit, and I'm nowhere near. Oh, that's right, I released the view. And he's on the wrong side of the ball, which we're going to work on stuff like that. Okay, so he's going to have to be, we're going to have to calculate what direction to the line. Yeah, we'll get that stuff in place. Believe me, we're getting closer and closer every single day we work on this. And then we're going to be able to tell it what direction to actually hit here. And when you click hit, see, right now it's going the wrong way. That's all fine. It's because we did not update the actual direction correctly. So we'll get those in place. But we're getting closer. He returned the view back to him, notice. So we're definitely making ground on this, and we'll get there in due time. Okay, I want to thank you for joining me, and have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning.